Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. In this video we're gonna be talking about all the books that I read in the month of July. So surprisingly, this month was actually a really good reading month. Let's just get into it. By the way, if you're new here, my name is Karen. I do a lot of books, fashion, lifestyle content. If any of that is of interest to you, make sure to hit the subscribe button. We'd love to have you here. So we're gonna do it a little bit different this time because most of the books that I read were actually on my Kindle. I had a huge Kindle reading month. I'll show you guys why that was because there's a reason for that, and then I'll show you guys also a book that I DNF'd and you're probably gonna be surprised. Let's just start with a bang. I think I read about a total of 8 to 9 books this month, and about 7 of those were actually on my Kindle. I know I don't have a lot of physical books to show you guys, but I think we're gonna start with the book that I ended up DNFing. This is also a book that made me want to take a break from this author. I think I mentioned in another video. Some of you might not like that I'm actually taking a break from reading books from this author, but I honestly really need a break because I just realized I wasn't really enjoying myself and I just need a break. So I DNF'd Maybe Someday by Colleen Hoover. I DNF'd it after 86 pages, which I definitely gave it a first chance. 86 pages. I have a rule that if a book doesn't get me hooked in the first 80 pages, then it's gonna be a DNF. I'm just not gonna enjoy it. This happened to me with People We Meet on Vacation and some other books. So this one, unfortunately, I DNF'd this month. Now on to the 2 physical books that I did read this month. It was a really good reading month in the sense that I read a lot of books, but then I also read a lot of books from the exact same author. I kind of was on a roll with the thriller genre. You know what author that was in a second. And one of the physical books that I read this month was Where the Crowd Sings, Delia Owens. I actually was planning on going to watch this movie and I never actually did. I was gonna wait for it to be on some streaming devices, streaming platforms like HBO or something like that, because I'm sure it's gonna come to HBO eventually. But I read this one. This book has been a challenge for me because I did start this book months ago. Even before I was a reader, I just started it out of nowhere because I started a shop and I had to get it, and I read like sneak peeks of it throughout a span of like many months, and then I wasn't a reader, so I couldn't get into it. But then I noticed the movie was coming out. This is like going all the way now that I'm a big reader and I actually finish books fast. I was like, I'm almost done with the book, why don't I just finish it? And I did. I was struggling with it because it was going very slow, but I promise you the ending is worth it. I did really like this book. I know there's some controversy around the author of this book, but I haven't really looked much into it. I personally really enjoyed it. I gave this book 5 stars because the ending was just freaking amazing. So 5 stars for this one. This next book is definitely a surprise because it's a genre that I'm really into, and a lot of you guys have been asking me to read this book and this series. I'm just like, I was feeling a little bit of pressure, but then one of my book friends from Instagram was like, just go into it with no expectations, see what you think about it. So that's what I did. Finally caved in, and I'm actually gonna be talking about this book in a video where I'm reading a lot of viral TikTok books. Probably like 3 books, and I will be going into detail about this book a little bit more in that one. But that is A Court of Thorns Roses by Sarah J. Maas. I'm sure you guys have heard about this book. It is a very popular book in series. I think this came out in 2015, but BookTok kind of blew this series up. I like it. I wasn't like flying through it or anything like that. I'm actually starting book number 2 because I did enjoy it and I do want to continue the series because I do want to see what the hype is about. But I see it. I can see why people are obsessed with this series. I give this book 4 out of 5 stars. I'm not gonna go into detail telling you guys what all the books are about. Maybe I will actually. So ACOTAR is about this girl. She goes into this fairy world and a lot of things go down. There's a lot of really interesting characters that come up. I don't want to spoil it for you guys, but she is human and she goes into this fairy world and she sort of falls in love with a fairy, and it kind of goes from there. Let's go back to Where the Crowd Sings. This is a murder mystery with some romance sprinkled in there. It's about a girl who lives in the marsh. I think she lives in the marsh. She's kind of secluded from everybody. Her family abandoned her and she kind of has to survive and fish for herself. And then a murder happens, so it's alternating timelines, and she gets accused of that murder, and there's a trial, and it just gets super interesting. This video is already a mess. You can tell I'm like super out of it and I'm just like not really focusing on what I'm doing. Let's just start talking about all the books that I read on my Kindle. So I ended up rereading a book, but I don't know if that counts. The first book that I read on my Kindle this month, I actually reread this book. The first time I read this was on Apple Books because it wasn't even on Kindle, but the author posted on her stories that it was free on Kindle Unlimited, so I was like, I need to get it. I'm actually gonna be doing a video where I talk about all the books that are on Kindle Unlimited that you'll be shocked to see that are there for free. Well, I mean, if you have the $9 a month subscription. But that book is Better Than Movies by Lynn Painter. I talk about this book many times on my channel. I don't think I'm gonna go into details. It is one of my favorites. It's a YA romance. It's super cute. She quotes romance movies in every single one of the chapters. It's just such a good book. I personally really enjoy it. It's a really sweet, comfortable, cozy book. I'll put a picture over here of all the Kindle books I'm gonna be mentioning. But yeah, I definitely recommend that book. I'm actually planning on getting the physical copy of it and annotating that one. I haven't even posted one annotating book on here, annotating video book on here, because I'm kind of new to this whole booktube situation. I do want to get into annotating. I already bought Love and Other Words and I'm planning on annotating that one first, so I'll show you guys that when I do it. But now moving on, I read a lot of thrillers this month, and they were all by the exact same author. I'm actually probably going to be finishing a thriller tonight, but I'm just going to include it in the next month's reading wrap up because it's technically going to be almost like August when I finish that. I read, let's just count right now, 1 2 3 4, only 4. I thought I read like 5, but I guess I read 4 thrillers by this thriller author called Freda McFadden. It's honestly, I don't know, I really like her writing style. She kind of gives Colleen Hoover vibes, but like Colleen Hoover when she wrote Verity vibes, and I personally really like it. But she has her own style. I'm not trying to compare too much. She does write in her own style. I read first The Wife Upstairs. This one, keep in mind there's another really popular book that I actually ordered. It's coming in the mail in a few days by another author that has the exact same title, but this one is The Wife Upstairs by Freda McFadden. And this is about almost like Verity. If you like Verity, you'll love this book. This lady has to move in this house for a job where she has to take care of somebody's wife, and she gets to live in there. It has a little bit of romance because kind of like Verity. I'm not even gonna go into too much detail. There's a lot of really creepy stuff that happens with the wife, and the wife has had a really big accident and she can't walk and all those things. It's a great book. I definitely recommend it. I might be biased, but this is becoming one of my new favorite thriller authors. Then we have Do Not Disturb. This one is about this murder happens and then this girl has to kind of like run away, and then she stops at this motel in like the countryside of New England, and a lot of stuff goes down there. It's really creepy, everything that happens in that motel, and it's called Do Not Disturb, so that kind of gives you the vibes. Then I read Housemaid. This one, it's also kind of like The Wife Upstairs, but it really has its own storyline. This one I only gave 3 stars. The other 2 I gave 4 stars, but this one wasn't really my favorite. I like the ending. It's about also a girl who has a lot of things that have happened to her, and she's really looking for a job, and she's surprised she gets this job with this really wealthy family, and the story kind of takes up from there. And the last book that I read this month was also by Freda McFadden. Like I said, I just read a big amount of books by this exact same author. It is The Locked Door by Freda McFadden. I don't really remember what this one's about. Oh yes, I do. I gave this one 4 stars. This is about, it has alternating timelines, which is really cool, and then it's also about the daughter of a serial killer. All serial killer trope, it's actually really cool. I don't even know if that's a trope, but the whole serial killer story, it's actually really cool and it's really captivating. and it kind of gives you literary fiction vibes where you actually think you're reading about character that existed, because it has a lot of really accurate facts and stuff like that. It's not, it's like totally just fiction. And it's about his daughter. She's actually a surgeon. It kind of gives you the vibes that she might be turning out to be like him, but the story takes another turn. Not to spoil it, it has so many plot twists. Her books have so many plot twists. I just really enjoy reading her books, and they're all free on Kindle Unlimited. I've been mentioning a lot of those books in my video about books that you're gonna be surprised to know they're on Kindle Unlimited, and this one, all of her books are actually on there, which I think is just great. I hope she gets some type of loyalty for that. But that's actually all the books that I read this month. It was a pretty good reading month. I think that I mentioned like 8 to 9 books. Definitely better than last month, where I couldn't even like film a whole video talking about this. But I really enjoy reading all these thrillers. I think I'm entering my thriller era right now, and I'm here for it. Thriller and fantasy. I'm definitely getting out of my comfort zone. I hope you guys like that I'm branching out, so I can give you more book recommendations and it's not just like romance books. Make sure to hit the subscribe button. Let me know what books you're reading right now, and I think we're just gonna go ahead and end this video right here. One more time, hit the subscribe button. We are on the road to hit 1,000 subscribers, and I think we're getting closer to that. So I'll see you guys on the next video. Also, make sure to follow my books Instagram page. Bye guys.